The voice of the forgotten king, they called me the richest man who ever lived. And yet, what they never saw was the weight of that gold on my soul. It wasn't a burden you could see. It was a silent corrosion, a whisper that became a scream during my sleepless nights. I was still a young man when the world began to whisper my name. The son of David, the heir to a throne forged in blood and prophecy. The palace stones had barely settled when ambassadors from distant lands began to arrive, bringing gifts not to honor me, but to decipher me. What made a man worthy of such favor, I didn't know then. But through scars and scrolls, I would learn the hardest truth of all. I did not seek wealth, I sought wisdom. And one night, on a night that felt darker than all the others, I asked the question that would change my life forever. Lord, give me a heart that understands. In that moment, I was just a boy wearing a crown that weighed more than my own head. But when the Lord answered, He didn't just give me understanding. He gave me a vision. I began to see the invisible, the motives behind words, the cracks in seemingly unbreakable alliances, the slow decay behind the most beautiful smiles. And with that vision came an avalanche. Then the riches came, not as a blessing, but as an uncontrollable torrent. Gold poured in like rivers during flood season, incense filled the air, and silver became as common as stones on the streets of Jerusalem. Trade routes stretched from Sheba to Tarshish, bringing ivory, apes, and peacocks. My name reached the ends of the earth, and still I could not sleep. What they don't tell you is this: wealth multiplies your reach, but it also multiplies your temptations. It opens doors you never knew existed, and many of them lead to abysses. Power made me a target for envy and flattery, and gold, a magnet for opportunists. In the midst of all the glitter, I began to feel a shadow growing within me. I built the house of the Lord, 7 years of sacrifice, silence, and splendor. The gold, the cedar, the song. It wasn't just a temple. It was a declaration to the world: our God dwells here. And yet, even as we sang praises and offered incense, I began to feel the shift. Not in the world outside. The shift was within me. Man can build the most sacred place on earth and still let foreign gods enter his heart. At first, it was just curiosity, then diplomacy, finally desire. My wives from foreign lands brought with them more than beauty. They brought altars, incense, gods of stone and wood. And I, Solomon, son of David, builder of temples, I began to light fires on hills not meant for worship. Each flame was a betrayal, a small piece of my soul that disintegrated. People call me wise, but wisdom, when ignored, turns into the bitterest of sorrows. One day, I stood on the balcony of my palace, looking out at the vast kingdom I had built. Down below, the markets bustled, people danced, and music echoed. But I saw none of it. I only heard my own voice, an empty echo in my head, repeating the same question that tormented me. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? I had gained the world. Queens sat at my feet. Armies bowed at my command. My words were inscribed in scrolls and sent across continents. And yet, I had allowed my soul to starve. And so, I began to write, not for others, but for myself. It was my form of penance. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. I wrote, not as a poet, but as a man who had tasted every pleasure and found only the flavor of ashes. I wrote Proverbs to guide the young and Ecclesiastes to warn the old. I recorded the code of wisdom, laws not carved in stone, but inscribed in the spirit. I spoke the truth no one wanted to hear, that discipline is more valuable than gold, that a gentle tongue can shatter swords, that pride precedes destruction, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of true wisdom. And still, they did not listen, because wisdom, no matter how loud it screams, cannot enter a heart closed by pride. In the twilight of my years, I returned to that same question: how did I become the richest man in the world without losing my soul? And the answer was, I didn't. Not at first. I lost it, and then I fought to get it back. And that, my friend, is where the true riches lie. Not in avoiding failure, but in repenting when you fall. Not in gold, but in humility. Not in ruling over nations, but in ruling over yourself. If you wish to be rich, do not seek the wealth of men. Seek the wisdom of God. For only in Him is a treasure that does not rot, a glory that does not fade. I speak now not as a king, but as a man who was once poor in soul and rich in things, and who learned that only one of those riches truly endures. That is the wisdom I give you. That is the code I leave behind, the Solomon Code. To unlock the secrets of true wisdom and build a life that transcends gold, subscribe to the Solomon Code channel and join the journey.